back on goes the not so pretty alloy, but with a fresh tyre on there, which should get us rolling for the meantime.
Go on.
Not quite an F1 pit stop. Right, the budget. So this was the door, and I think a good body shop could probably repair that. But the good thing about rebuilding something like an RS6 is that a lot of A6 stuff, just standard diesel stuff, should fit over to it. So instead of getting the door repaired, which would probably cost a couple £100, I just bought a new door off an A6 diesel for £209, which I think is pretty good, providing that both of these doors are the same. Okay, maybe they're not the same.
It's the same, but it's just different. You know what I mean?
It's like this is just rubber.
Yeah.
Whereas that's like plastic.
First off, before we take anything off, should we just put it on that and see if it opens and closes and it looks right?
Good thinking.
I think so, and then we can start deciding. Now this was a bit of a gamble because the A6 diesel doors were a lot cheaper than the RS6 doors.
That is pretty good.
But it looks like it fits exactly the same way. The only difference being the chrome trim at the bottom and the black trim at the top of the door, which now was going to have to take off and replace it from the old door onto the new one, which was a lot more hassle than we first thought.
Torques.
There was so many little things holding these trims in. We had to undo all the Torx bolts on the side to remove the trim. That allowed us to remove the seal around the door, and then the door was stripped completely bare. We had to do the same on the inside as well. From then on, me and Chris tackled the extremely fiddly job of putting back all the new seals on the outside of the door and the inside as well. I also had to swap over the wiring looms for it to work. And there it is. One door, which is a slightly different shade of black to that door, and a slightly different shade of black to the wing, is on. The wing mirror is on, and all the door cards are on. It definitely took a lot longer than we originally thought because we had to change absolutely everything over. The one thing that we are missing is a door speaker, so I'm going to have to order that. And the final thing to do in the interior is the airbag, and the airbag cost me £295, which I think is quite expensive really, but it is an airbag. Yeah, is that in right? Yeah, it is.
I think it is.
Yes,
It's sweet.
look at that. Now there's not really too much point in us putting this on because we haven't put the washer bottle in yet, because we need to line up the arch, but there was one thing that was missing, and it was the engine cover, and this thing was surprisingly expensive, but I did want to fit it because it just looked incomplete without a cover. £164 98p for that. 95p.
Sometimes you've got to call a pro in to do these jobs.
Now we're going to pop some coolant in to see if there's any leaks, and also to run this car up to temperature. Then we're going to get to hear exactly what the exhaust sounds like. We're going to be able to run it up to temperature. Here we go. It's running sweet. We do still have a fair amount of warning lights on the dashboard. I'll assume the airbag light is only on because we still need to cancel the codes, hopefully. Noise. Yeah, it's got like a bit of a bang. I think it needs a remap. I feel like it needs like some kind of remap, but like it's like just, it's just not like a. No, it's all right. It's all right. That was an absolute solid effort in 24 hours. It's obviously still a long way from SEMA and being a SEMA build. We've got a lot to do with that, but total cost, and in 24 hours, including the car, £26,564 to get to this point right here. Now I realise I missed the windscreen off, which was £225, which now brings the total build cost to £26,789. But actually I think that's still pretty good going. We've got a almost running Audi RS6 now, and if that's not motivated you to go and rebuild or get a crash damaged car and try it for yourself, I don't know what will. Okay, we need to address a few things that some of you guys said in the previous video. We replaced this door in the last video and it was off an Audi A6 diesel. It was only £209. And that's because the RS6 door has damage here. Now someone mentioned that the RS6 doors are aluminium and the A6 doors are steel. With the trusty magnet, yes, it's aluminium, it's not magnetic at all. And the A6 door is also aluminium. So maybe they lied. But one thing that is different is the glass in the window. On the Audi A6 door, the glass is made up of, looks like two pieces of glass stuck together. And then on the RS6 window, it looks like one big piece of thick glass. So just to keep it consistent throughout the car, I'm going to be taking the glass out of the A6 door and replacing it with the RS6 glass. And to do so, we've got to remove the door card once again. To access the glass, I've got to undo the speaker housing, and then once this is removed, I can see the plastic clamps which clamp the window and hold it onto the window regulator. To disconnect it from the regulator, you have to push a screwdriver through a hole to release a clip, and then the window should just release off the regulator. You have to do this both sides, and then the glass should just lift out. RS6 one is a lot heavier. I have no idea why the glass is different. Maybe someone could tell me in the comment section, but anyway, we're gonna put the right glass back in. To refit the RS6 glass, you slide it back into the seals, down the door and back into the original plastic clamps that came off, making sure everything goes back the way it should. Here we go.
Oh, it'll work.
Does it fit?
It fits.
Fits good. I don't know what the difference was, but it works. Next up, door speakers. For some reason, we were missing the door speakers when we picked up the RS6. So I had to buy a second-hand one off eBay for £80. I think they're a little expensive because they are Bose speakers, but I expect them to be pretty good. I suspect the old owner had aftermarket speakers and he took them out of the doors before the car went to auction. But then when I checked the driver's side, the speaker was still in there, so it made no sense. So the next thing that we had a problem with was the rear suspension. We noticed when we put the car in the air in the last video that the air suspension was not sitting properly on the rear arms, and no matter what we tried to do, we couldn't get it back in place because there was so much pressure in the rear bags. But thanks to you guys, I think we found our fix. Servicing checks maybe? Air suspension wheel change. On. Okay, that should do it maybe? Send the car up and we'll find out. You have to select this setting when putting the RS6 in the air. And by doing this, I think it will release pressure from the airbags and allow us to push it back into place. Right, now, let's see if, yes. They're like soft now. You reckon we could get them back in now? They feel like softer. Let's see if we can wedge this back in to where it should go. Hey! Yes, that is in. So look, and now there's literally no air in the bag. So we need them clips
to go on there
to hold it in. Okay. Yay! We're in. Suspensions. We're looking good. Next thing to repair is this small dent in the bonnet. We think this just happened in transport. My dad sanded down the damaged part, applying a little bit of filler, and once that's hardened, sanding that down to make it nice and smooth and flat again. And then my attention is drawn to the headlights. If you remember when we picked up the car, the left-hand headlight was damaged in the accident. And we tried to upgrade them to the LED ones, but the plugs were completely different. I've later found you can buy the plugs to make these work, but you need to repin the electrics and get them coded. Yeah, these headlights do look pretty cool, but I don't think they look cool enough for me to try and faff around trying to get the separate plugs and do the coding as well. So we managed to pick up another headlight for £395, and I think they're okay. I think resorting back to the standard headlights is going to be our best option here, especially as we can sell the upgraded headlights as well to get part of our money back. And I think buying electrics, then trying to code the headlights to make them work is not going to be as simple as it's made out. So out come the upgraded LED headlights, which don't work at the moment because they're not plugged in, and in go the headlights, which should work on the car. Okay, let's test them. That's dip beam. Yeah? Yeah! Yeah! Cue the comments of everyone saying the LED ones look better. I know they do look better, but I don't think they look that much better. But whatever. Now we're about to do what we haven't done in a long time, but we're doing this again because of the time frame. Normally on a damaged car like this, we'd get it painted, but as we haven't got the time for it, I'm about to wrap it. So we've gone for a Nosatec slate grey, but this is just a base colour, and I wish I could explain what we're doing, but it would just take me years to explain, so I might as well just do it. This is what's going on first, almost like a Nardo grey, little bit boring, but it will get more exciting than this, trust me. Vinyl wrap isn't supposed to last the lifetime of the car, but with today's wrap, I can't see why if you didn't look after it, it wouldn't last the lifetime of the car. For now, I'm going to be wrapping the car just because of the time frame we have to get to SEMA. And then maybe we can get it painted afterwards. And I still think with this wrap, we can get a really nice finish on it. That's if my wrapping skills are up to the test. Of course, I'm not a rapper. I've just self-taught myself to do this. So it's only as good as I can be. Okay, that is the front bumper done. My dad's going to rebuild it back up because he took it apart again. Now we're on to the easier stuff, the bonnet and the wings, or fenders if you're American, or quarter panels if you're Australian. Wrapping is a game of patience. If you rush anything, it's going to look rubbish. You've really got to learn how to work the wrap and when to heat it and when to not heat it. Again, I'm no expert, but I think the front wings are the easiest part of the car to do. So if you're going to give it a go yourself, start there. With both wings out of the way, I'm on to one of the biggest parts of the car, the bonnet, or hood if you're American. Wings wrapped, bonnet wrapped, now the headlights are going back in and my dad is building up the front bumper. The vibes are going off in the unit. Look at the difference all the trims have made on the front bumper. I've even wrapped all the silver bits black. No idea what I'm doing there. And with pretty much the front end wrapped, I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. Ah, look at that. That actually does look sick already. That looks mint. Just a lot of panel lining up and everything to do. Now, once we put the wheels on, well, what we've got to do is now get it in this ramp so we can do the side of the car. But we should, fingers crossed, be faultless. And there's a way we're going to check that out in a minute. So in the last video, even though we replaced the airbag that had blown, yeah, and we replaced the sensors on the front with the new sensors that we got, we still had an airbag light on the dash. But I'm hoping this little thing will not only solve that, but also tell us any more faults that the car's got. I'm just going to move it forward and then we can have a little play on this. There's no airbag light anymore. Now I've got one full side to complete and I'm sure you don't want to watch me continue wrapping. So, and that is done. Well, not really done, but it's nearly done. I've pretty much done most of one side. There's still a bumper to do, there's still the back to do, and there's still the other side. I've not decided what I'm doing with the door handles yet, but I'm sure you're all in agreement that grey isn't really the most out there colour it can be. And SEMA's all about being different, making crazy cars, doing something that's a little bit unique. And that's exactly what this RS6 is going to be. I'm dying to show you this. We now have a blank canvas of an Audi RS6. But we need to create something unique, something special, something head-turning. This was John Olsen's Audi RS6 DTM. It was built especially for John to do the Gumball Rally in years ago. A one-of-one carbon DTM kit on a 1,000 brake horsepower RS6, which was later stolen and set on fire. An end to an epic car. Now, it's our turn. This is a full GT3 DTM wide-body race car kit for the RS6, and it is full carbon fibre. Yes, I'm about to ruin the RS6. On here like that. I'm waiting for the comments already. What the hell is going on? But that is going to look absolutely mental. But this is what SEMA's about. I think this one's the dramatic piece, don't you think, Matt?
That is ridiculous.
Look at this front splitter. So this kind of, I feel like it just kind of slides into its OEM place, but roughly speaking.
What?
Look how big that is. This is like a race car. It's like a DTM race car. It's meant to be absolutely over the top. We're going crazy with it, and I still think I will be able to daily it. Potentially. I think it's 65mm wider, front and rear. Like the whole thing.
Each side, 65 cent. Each side.
65mm
Millimeters.
front and rear wider. Like it's absolutely huge. Full car, like the carbon quality is actually mental. Yeah, like that. Oh my god! So that.
This has got to be absolutely perfect, otherwise you're not going to be able to open the door.
Yeah, like literally, we've got to get this actually spot on. This thing, we unboxed it wondering what the hell is this, and we found out what it was. This is wing.
Oh my days. It looks like a table.
If one wing wasn't enough, then there's another one which goes like here. So all the downforce you'll ever need in an RS6. I can already see people